So it's day 11. Oh yes, day 11. Sorry about that, day 11. We're in day 11. Boy, time flies so fast. When I started day 1, I said, 15 days. When are we going to get through this? Well, we are at day 11 already. So, now that we're moving closer to the time of the proposal of the king, then, I have 2 minutes in my mouth and I just need to get rid of them. Then we have to look at what do we need to do to finish the preparation. We looked at preparing the body, we looked at preparing the spirit, and we're looking at preparing the soul. But the soul and the spirit is so interchanged. But remember, the soul is about the relationships and the emotions, while the spirit is about keeping our spirits aligned with God's spirit so that we don't have stress, no stress. That is the only way we are going to be able to operate without stress. So, that's very, very important. Keeping the spirit stress-free. So, as we move into these days of preparation, let us remember that we have control. And anytime somebody else is controlling us, it's because we have given away our control. So as we look at the 4 rules of Celebrate Life, I want to suggest a pattern of control that will keep the controller in control. So, first, know where you're going. Now, this is having a goal, and I'm going to suggest that keeping God in control is your goal for that section. Second segment is know your driver, and I'm going to suggest that understanding the ways of the controller is how you get to know his processes, his timing, his ways, his intent, his end goal, and that way you will be in sync with him. And then the third thing is pay as you enter. And one of the things about paying as you enter is that you don't know what to do, because that is the part that you put in, unless you know what the processes are. And so you need to know what the processes are. Because if you don't know his ways and how he proceeds and his timing and so on, just basically the outline of how he does things, very, very important for us to know, because then we will be able to understand how he proceeds, and therefore how do we have to respond to this process of how he proceeds. Because let me tell you something, his ways are not our ways. And so we need to just know how to listen to him, how to assess where he's at, what he's going to do, and it comes right back to the most important thing, seek him first. And that's in segment number 3. Because in segment number 3, as you seek him first, then you will be able to get direction. And I had 3 times that you seek him. You seek him at the beginning of the process. You seek him during the process. Anytime you hit a ball, double check with him. And then thirdly, you seek him as you see the finish line in view. When you see the end in view, honey, you got to seek him, because that is when the enemy, who knows that we have won. You need to understand that the enemy knows we have won enough. And as a result, he is going to be always there to put all sort of obstacles in the way. Why? Because his objective at that point, because he knows we have won, is to get us to leave the track, to come off of the road totally, because that way we won't finish at all. And so we need to be aware of these objectives of the enemy of our souls, 1, and how to counteract it. Stand, just stand up, meaning stay the course. He that endures to the end shall be saved. you shall have wholeness. If you just hang in there, hang in there. It is a case of the hare and the tortoise. You know this tortoise, or let's call him, what do we call him again? That thing, that whatever. You know, it goes slowly, just creeping along the way. And then we call them turtles, right? And you have a turtle just inching along. And beside it, you have a hare. And you know what a hare is. It's a rabbit. And that rabbit will run fast. And it's not for the speed. It is the one who finishes. So you know what happened to the rabbit one time? The rabbit was running faster. And when he reached about a quarter mile before the finish line, he said, "No, Sonia, that here don't even reach 1/8 of the journey." And he decided, let me take a break. Lie down under the tree, drink some coconut water, and books and fall asleep. You know what happened? He slept until the hare passed him and finished the race ahead of him. So it is not about the swift. It is about those who just stay the course. Stay the course means that you don't move on till it is finished. Why? Because we need to understand the enemy's way of discouraging us, of dissuading us, of disappointing us, of whatever else, destabilizing, disease, all of these things. Just look at through the dictionary on the D's, and you'll find all the things that he tries. So we need to understand how to just sit down in there and keep on keeping on until we are totally finished. Then we will be able to always know, like we know that we are going to complete the journey without any problem. So that is the sort of a foundation for how we are going to proceed as we look at the days of preparation, number 11, and we look at the control, maintaining control. Now, I looked at the pivotal relationship where you have to maintain control first in order to transfer this control to the rest of your relationships and the entities that you're involved in. But I want to look today at how this impacts you as an individual. Because a lot of times we think that if we put the marriage or the relationship as first, we get left. And we need to understand that that's not how it works. We do not get left if we make that arrangement then. One of the things that we have to always consider is the fact that when God created this union, He made it so that it would be a win-win situation. Why? Because all of His arrangements are win-win situations, where both persons, once they embrace their part of the contribution that they are to make to the whole, then everybody wins. Because in any group, the dynamics of the group interacting together is that they all supply something different. And so it is as everybody comes together in what they are supplying that we are going to have real congruence. Again, that word of different streams coming together, tributaries coming into a main stream, and as we all come together and merge, how are you going to identify or separate the different component parts of, 15 tributaries flowing into one stream? How do you go in and say this water came from that and those pebbles came from that? It's not possible. And so we need to always have the total picture in view, so that as we look at bringing all the parts together, we look forward to enjoying the benefits of each contribution towards it. So living in the spirit is how we are able to finally see what we need to get out of all of these inputs that are going to determine our success or failure. But we're not even looking at the failure. We're looking only at the successes. So we are going to look at all the components, parts of this, as we go into the next section of control. Who has control? Who do you give control to? So come back.
Coming down on my people, taking the goodness of life and rendering them evil. You see, the little that they gave you was just to deceive you.
Are you struggling with some kind of health condition? Is it arthritis, high blood pressure, Crohn's disease, constipation, AIDS, cancer? Whatever it is, we can show you how to get your natural defenses up so that your bodies will deal with your condition. Join us as our studio audience on reggae2reggae.com, when we will teach you how to celebrate every moment of your life. Call us at 336-7350 for information. Limited space.
Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created reggae2reggae.com.
Reggae to reggae, bundong bro, mana. Make it burn, bumpy go home, mana. Make it burn, make it bun. Africa we come from, mana. Reggae to reggae, big up on yourself, saying, Aile, as I would say.
On reggae2reggae.com, we encourage our listeners with an inclusive, intelligent, and innovative alternative media experience.
Don't tell me that you were blind. Don't let the devil fool you. Oh, yeah. Somehow I know things have got to change. Somehow I know it's got to be rearranged. Ooh, yeah. Somehow I know.
Dr. Sheril Chung on reggae2reggae.com. Dr. Sheril Chung on reggae2reggae.com. Dr. Sheril Chung on reggae2reggae.com. Dr. Sheril Chung.
Welcome back. We are into segment 2 of Days of Preparation 11. And we are looking at the issue of control and how it impacts the individual. And so a lot of persons think that very often in a marriage situation, they lose themselves because the focus is the success of the marriage or the family. And sometimes you think that you have to put your own views under in order for this to happen. But that's not so. What the pivotal thing we need to pull out of all of this is the fact that who is in control? Keeping God in control has to do with living in the Spirit, which is basically how we're going to approach the individual benefit of control. Remember, we said that God needs to be in control. If He's kept in control, then everything else will fall into place. Now, how do we do that on a individual basis? Right. Now, first of all, keeping Him in control we need to understand what that means, and it brings me to the second segment, which is know your driver. All right, it's the Spirit who you are keeping in control. How do you keep the Spirit in control? First of all, you have to know who he is. So knowing your driver has to do with knowing, answering these questions of who, when, where, why, how, right? And we know that those are the questions we ask when we want to get any clarification or elucidation of a problem and issue. Who is the Spirit? The Spirit is God. God. And understanding the Trinity is something that I just have never been able to explain, but I understand that it is different manifestations of the one. Just like how we are a triune being, and we have a body, a soul, relationships, and emotions, and a spirit, that part of us that interacts with God's Spirit in us. Then so does God have a body, Jesus, a soul, which is the Godhead basically, and a spirit, which is the Holy Spirit. So the Godhead is the all-encompassing one where all the interactions with take place. So we pray to God, I don't know, because the Spirit within us prays with us when we pray to God. That's not a scripture. But it is that part, the easiest way for me to deal with it, and it just might help you, is that when Jesus left, I always had as a child a problem when they said that Jesus was in my heart. I just sort of pictured a little picture of Jesus sitting down on a chair in the middle of my heart. And I had a problem with that, because sometimes I wondered, how does he breathe? Is he, because I'm seeing him in the bodily form. Until I remember that scripture that says, when he was ascending, he says, you're not going to see me anymore. I am going up to the Father, but I am sending another one who is just like me, and he will come. Some of the things he's going to do. He's going to let the world know about sin and righteousness and judgment. He's going to convict, and he is going to control. He's going to lead you into all truth. He's going to seal you and make sure that you are comfortable, and that is it. Nobody can move you. He's going to be with you all the time. You can't get rid of him, sort of thing. Whether you go up or you go down, whether you're right or you're wrong, whether you go down or you're back, he's there all the time. And so that was easier for me to understand. And so I was able to embrace that spirit, and anything that happened, I was able to say, well, this is the Spirit who will always be with me, and I can communicate with him because the Spirit is always there, always inside of me. It is the Spirit that is, what should I say? He is dwelling in every part of me, in every cell. And, I got a little more clarification on this concept when I was studying orthomolecular medicine and psychiatry. And what that is looking at all the medical and psychiatric conditions at the molecular level. And I realize that when you come down to communicating at the molecular level, you are also communicating at the spiritual level. Consequently, you're looking at a spirit-to-spirit communication. And that is how Jesus healed. He spoke to every molecule. He spoke to the spirit in the person. And those molecules came back into perfect upright order at the word of Jesus. Let's break this down again. We came back into perfect upright order because we communicated with each molecule in the person. And that was when I studied. How do you effect permanent healing or reversal of a condition? By getting the molecules back into their proper structure. And that's the same way that Jesus healed. Because he just spoke to all those molecules. The spirit that dwells in every molecule, every cell, and said, line up, come back where you need to be, where I want you to be. Voila! Isn't that a concept that we can all engage? So, it's so important for us to understand that concept because we have the same communication ability. And a lot of times we don't understand that communication ability. That is why we can speak to ourselves, we can speak to our molecules, we can communicate with them because it is out of our spirit that we do that. So, I hope that doesn't confuse you, but that it gives you a little clarification as to who the spirit is. What does the spirit do? I mentioned some of them. I think the most important one for me is that he leads me into all truth about every single thing that occurs. He leads me into all truth. That means I can check with him to find out if this is wrong, if this is right. Is this really so? Should I do this? All truth encompasses every area of life and is really a master advisor, a master counselor as to how we need to proceed with whatever we're doing. We just need to understand that there is a way. There is a way. And if we choose to embrace that way, then we will be able to effect sustainable change. And that's what we all want. Because it's very easy to change temporarily. But to sustain and maintain the change, we really need powers that are really beyond our little powers. And so we need to be able to always call on that spirit. And of course, the other thing that I like about the spirit, characteristics of the spirit, is that he never leaves us or forsakes us. He's just always there. Always, 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 always there. So, that's who he is. What does he do? Where? He's in me, in every molecule of me. Why? Why? So that we can have a helper. Somebody who is always there to supply and be the channel through which comes all the characteristics of the Godhead. Just like we have the Godhead bodily in Jesus, we now have the Godhead in spirit in the spirit that lives within us. And so as that spirit lives within us, we need to draw on it. Draw. And how do we do this? How does he operate? He operates by nudging us, right? My mind did tell me, I had a gut feeling. That's one way. And secondly, he operates by the word, and the word can come by your reading it. It can come by somebody else speaking it. It can come by just an idea. It can come by things coming together. It can come by a word of knowledge. It can come by a word of prophecy. It can come by a miracle. And we have those every day, every single day of our lives, we have miracles. And if anything goes right, it's a miracle. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. Anything goes right, it's a miracle. Because there are so many things always working against it. And when we are able to embrace, recognize, accept, believe, and act on our miracles, then that is when we are able to receive. Because, you know, one of the things that I always think about is the miracles of the past, which we all can pinpoint in our own lives. And what made them come to pass? What do I need to do to see that they are repeated, or the circumstances for repeating them are present and are created by us? Well, you know, it has to do with understanding who the Spirit is and engaging that Spirit to do what the Spirit does. So it's not about what I do. It's about knowing your driver, who is the Spirit of truth. So as we look at the sometimes difficult to understand concept of the Spirit in us, let us remember that it is just the manifestation of God in us to give us whatever. It's almost like a channel. And then when we are a channel, when we accept the moving of stuff in through that channel into permeate every facet of our being, then we now become a channel for it to continue flowing to others around. That's how we transfer the God in us. Because remember, the Spirit is God. And we need to know His Spirit, know His capabilities, know His purpose, know that we are not here just by accident, but He has a purpose. And His purpose is to help us line up with a plan, to empower us to carry out the plan, to be a channel to us so that we can be a channel to others for them to carry out their plan. And basically, the ultimate purpose of those who align themselves with the Spirit is to use whatever He supplies to complete your own plan, and to use that to help others complete their own plan. And this is the reason we have challenges, crises, to help us move through our plan quicker. Didn't know that, eh? And also to be an encouragement to others so that they can fulfill their own plan. What is the plan? Jeremiah 29:11. I have a plan for you. A plan not to harm you, but to give you a hope and a future. to bring you to an expected end. A plan for your success and for your prosperity. Did you know that God had a plan like that? He does. And so I encourage you as we go to our next section to listen to your part that you have to play as you walk through that plan. So come back.
Got to change. Ooh, somehow I know it's got to be rearranged.
On reggae2reggae.com, we encourage our listeners with an inclusive, intelligent, and innovative alternative media experience.
The Jamaican music that is emerging in the whole reggae phenomenon is this country because it's a tremendous force for change. It is the first real people's language that has emerged in which people are singing of their woes, their tragedy, their despair, and are forcing this society to understand.
Reggae2reggae.com, we encourage our listeners with an inclusive, intelligent, and innovative alternative media experience.
Join me for Celebrate Life, where we will be looking at all the issues that you could possibly have and how you can transform them into a celebratory occasion. Celebrate life on reggae2reggae.com. See you there.
On reggae2reggae.com, we encourage our listeners with an inclusive, intelligent, and innovative alternative media experience.
Oh my. These words have been spoken by my master. They will come to pass. With all this injustice.
Reggae2reggae.com. Dr. Sheril Chung on Reggae2reggae.com. Dr. Sheril Chung on Reggae2reggae.com. Dr. Sheril Chung on Reggae2reggae.
Okay, we are back and we're on segment 3, and this is usually the most, I wouldn't say, well, this is the part that we are supposed to play. Because if you listen to my shows, I go from the most important to the most important to the most important. But really and truly, the most important is not the start, but it is the part that we have an input in. And so we need to be able to understand how do we carry out that input. The first one is know where you're going. It's just information that you need to get about the person who is setting your goal. 2, know your driver. You need to know who is driving. 3, pay as you enter. And that's where we are now, because as we look at paying as you enter, we need to know what part do I have to do. And anytime you speak about the living in the spirit, which is what we're looking at for our individual, maintaining individual control, is living in the spirit. And once we look at living in the spirit, where that is concerned, then we need to look at what does the spirit have to do with us. And in this section, when we look at what do we have to do, we are looking at what characteristics we have to develop. And it's really developing the fruit of the Spirit. And that is found in Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 and 23. living in the Spirit on an individual basis. And so we're going to look at the fruit of the Spirit, which is what is going to enable us. And all of these things are areas that we need to develop habits in, that we need to sow in. So it's not something that is just going to happen like, right? We have been given the ability to do them instantly, right? So before we actually develop those characteristics, we can call on the Spirit within us to do those things. So it's not a matter that we can't do them, actualize them, until we have developed those fruit, as it were. While our fruit is developing, and I need to put this right, because you need to understand that it's a two-way thing. While you are developing those habits, you can just call on the Spirit that permeates us to do the stuff. And I'm here to tell you, I've been developing these habits from I was 5, 6, 7, when I sort of became very conscious of the spirit life. And it is now almost 60 years later. Some of them I have not yet developed. Still in process. But every time I am faced with a situation where I need to activate any one of them, it's as easy as that, right? I just say, God, I can't handle this. But you can handle it in me, because I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And so I just sort of back down, as it were, and say, take over. And listen to me. I do that more times than not. Most times. I just can't even think of any time when I don't do that. Because I'm here, so to tell you, the day you think you're strong enough to do it by yourself, boom, flat on your face. And any time I fall flat on my face, it's because I tried to do it because I had developed these things. But remember, He is our helper. The Spirit is our helper. And He's here to help us to carry out. And you know, as I get older and older in this lifestyle, I realize that I really have to do less and less and less. Because as I allow the Spirit to do the work in me, then it becomes easier and easier and easier. You know what is the hardest thing in life in terms of our spiritual development? Backing off. Yes, backing off and allowing the Spirit. As you do, you become more spiritual. You do less and less and less. And some people think that when they become more spiritual, they have to work harder and harder and harder. Not the case. But let's put it this way. We're talking about my experience, and my experience is that it's not the case. Right? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you how it works for me, so that I can say and soar through so many difficult situations without a hitch. Anytime I have a hitch, it's because I am doing it in my own effort. So, I want you to understand that this is how the Spirit works. And so I'm going to list the fruit which we need to develop. 1, the fruit of the Spirit. I'm going to give them in triplets. You know, there are 2 concepts. One concept is that the fruit of the Spirit is love. And I agree with that concept. Because out of operating in love will emanate every other characteristic. So let's just understand, explain what love is, and then we'll look at the other characteristics. Love. Always looking out at what is best for the party you love, which is also best for you. Dun, 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 dun. Well, let's analyze that. Always looking out at what is best for the other party, which is also the best for you. You know, that's my best definition, because that's how I have operated if I love somebody. And that's how God has operated in his love for me. Because the only place you can get a comparison, or the only place that you can get a training session, or the only place that you can get a clarification, a definition, is from our Creator. He so loved that he gave. God so loved that he gave his best. And that's the beginning and the end. And because his love is unconditional, it's an issue of just always loving and giving. And we will see what he has given us. We will see what he has given us in the next segment when we look at enjoying the ride. But let me go through the list, because out of this love that we have been blessed with will come joy, peace, long-suffering, and patience, which is the same thing. Let me look at my list. Yes, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, sound mind. You know, those are the fruit that we need to continuously develop in our actions, in our relationships with others, as we look at the fruit. You know, when you are a tree of any sort, every day people looking at, when is it going to blossom? When is it going to bear? What sort of fruit is it going to bear? Etc. And as we look at these characteristics, we need to remember that this is the only way that we are going to know by the fruit. We will know what kind of tree it is. We will know if the tree is connected to the root, or if the tree is just sort of floating around by itself and it's so dry and shriveled. So remember, developing the fruits is how we put our responsibility. And the easiest way to develop those fruits is to just back off and allow the Spirit. So you have to be in constant touch with the Spirit for the Spirit to show you exactly where you need to go. So come back. Okay.
Injustice, this world could never last. Oh, somehow I know things have got to change.
On reggae2reggae.com, we encourage our listeners with an inclusive, intelligent, and innovative alternative media experience.
Reggae to reggae. Taking over the world. Rockin'. Bang ba ding be dong bang bang be then trench down. You keep on rocking, yeah, the uprising group.
So keep it tuned to reggae2reggae.com.
Since the first public demonstration of radio by Nikola Tesla in 1893, no one ever thought of putting the 2 hours of music together until we created Reggae2Reggae.com.
Join me for Celebrate Life, where we will be looking at all the issues that you could possibly have and how you can transform them into a celebratory occasion. Celebrate life on Reggae2Reggae.com. See you there.
Oh, I know it's got to be rearranged. Oh, yeah. Somehow I know things have got to change.
Dr. Sheril Chung on Reggae2Reggae.com. Dr. Sheril Chung on Reggae2Reggae.com. Dr. Sheril Chung on Reggae2Reggae.com. Dr. Sheril Chung on Reggae2Reggae.
We are back, and this time we're looking at the last section, which says, how do we enjoy the ride? This is a ride of living in the spirit. And boy, when I started to do this research, I thought to myself, oh, this is going to be difficult, because how on earth am I going to enjoy the ride of developing this fruit and so on? But as I mentioned, the ride is one where you back off. You sit back and you allow the spirit to be in control. And that way you can enjoy the ride. And as we do that, then we understand that there is another aspect which I realize. What does it give you to enjoy the ride? Because sometimes you sit down and you say, well, if I'm not doing anything, I just sit down here and let him do everything. I don't have anything to do. Well, that is where the gifts come in. He gives us gifts. And you can see all of them, that are given to us as a body. It's in 1 Corinthians 12 and in Romans 12. And it goes through so many different things that we can do and engage ourselves in. Whether it is hospitality, or it is health, or it's drama, or it is praise and worship, or it is senior citizens, or it is teaching, or it is miracles, or it is, wow, it is a long list, right? And I want to just look at a few of them, right? These gifts, and guess what? These gifts are not worked for, they are not earned, they are not developed, they are gifts. No, of course, you develop the ability to use them by using them over and over and over. Any one of these gifts can be developed, because you know what it says at the end of the chapter? It says, covet earnestly the best gifts. And the best gift is actually a fruit. Fruit number 1, love. And after that, then we can covet all the others. So let's get on the gifts, what they are, and how we can operate in them. First of all, the word of wisdom. Now, do you know how we get wisdom? A word of wisdom? By knowing the word, getting into the word, because every every word of wisdom is a word out of the operations manual, applicable to a specific person, group of persons, or situation. So you just can't expect word to drop into your spirit if you don't know the word. Because the word that drops into your spirit has always got to be clarified and be consistent with the word in the operations manual. So it's a word of wisdom that you can help somebody with a little wisdom along the way that we are traveling. And then we have the word of knowledge. And again, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. And what is the basis for that? The word, the operations manual. And so a word of knowledge is a word that encourages you and cannot be inconsistent with what the Spirit has already told you. And I'm here to tell you, every word that comes to you from outside has already come to you from inside. Inside by the Spirit. Now sometimes you're not even listening, and so you cannot hear it, or you did not perceive that it was a word. Sometimes you think it's, remind me, tell me. But what is that? The Spirit speaking. So we need to be able to differentiate those voices. How do you differentiate those voices? By keeping in the word, so that, you know, if you talk to somebody continuously, you don't even have to see them. As soon as they open their mouths, you know who's speaking. They could be in Timbuktu and they call you on Skype, or they call you on a long distance, whatever. As soon as they come on the line, it is, once the communication lines are open, the channels are clear. But, hi, how are you? How you know it's me? I know your voice. And so that's the same way you get to know that voice, by listening to it over and over and over. So, word of knowledge. We're moving on to faith. And that is another encouraging word, and a sort of a resilience and confidence, and I am sure bacative that what you say in this word is going to come to pass, and I'm sure about it. We have done 3 gifts, and there are this on the word. Keep going. Then the next one is gift of healing. And again, how do you get this gift? By going through the word. You want gift of healing? Look in the troubleshooting section. That is the place at the back they call concordance. Look for healing, or faith, or knowledge, or wisdom, whichever one you want. And read every verse from the front to the back of the book. On that, you shall have that gift. I am here to tell you. So, the gift of healing. He says, I heal all that come unto me. When you read through the healing verses, you will also find out what happened to those who were not healed. He says, I heal all that come unto me. In faith. No matter how little it is, the only time he could not heal is when there was doubt and unbelief. So, everybody has been given a measure of faith. Everybody. You cannot live without faith, because you have to have faith that you're going to breathe the next breath. And if you have not faith, then you're going to die. Poof! So we all have faith. It's a matter of, am I willing to use that little teeny weeny itsy weeny piece of faith? Alright, so the gift of faith is there, the gift of healing is there, and then the next one is the working of miracles. And I'm here to tell you, boy, you want that again? God show miracles in this world. And when you finish reading through all the miracles, you are so confident of what the word says about speaking things until they happen, calling into being, calling those things that are not as if they were until they become. Isn't that a miracle? We all have the ability to do that because these are the gifts that we have been given. Prophecy. You know, I find that one to be probably the easiest one because it's all about repeating what is in this. I'm here to tell you, a prophet is somebody who speaks for the word that is in here. Whether it is a word that has happened already or it's a word that is to happen. The source of our prophecy, right here in the book. So, I find that's the easiest one. You just read it and just speaking forth, and foretelling, same thing. It comes out of here, alright? But it comes by the Spirit that brings it to your memory or brings it to the fore or applies it to a specific situation. But it all comes out of here, alright? That's prophecy. And then discerning of spirits. Whoa, what? Discerning of spirits. You understand what that means? It means being able to recognize the spirit and what is behind it. Now, this is not about mumbo jumbo. It is about the fact that the essence of anything is the spirit of that thing. A person has a spirit. God is a spirit. God has a spirit as well as being is a spirit. I am a spirit. And everything around has a spirit. The dog has an essence. Alright? So I'm not here about putting the triunity of man onto a dog. But everything has an aura or an essence of whether it is true or not. What is the operational background controlling factor in that thing? Got that? And it all has to do with energy. And if you study, what is this now? Is it physics? Yeah, physics and chemistry and biology. You will understand about the essence of energy. There is no life without energy. And the things that we consider to be dead, like a piece of wood, or a piece of metal, or a mirror, or a piece of glass, they also have energy because they have atoms moving around it. That is the discerning of spirits. What is generating this? What is the essence of this thing? And so, we will just do the last two, which are discerning of spirit, different kinds of tongues, and the interpretation of tongues. And I'm here to tell you, those two are so important because we need to understand that the issue of tongues is twofold. One is a prayer language that only God can understand, and your spirit. So your spirit speaks to God's spirit, and you speak out of your spirit, and God understands. And secondly, it is also God speaking to you, as in to tell others, so that there needs to be an interpretation. So it's either communication up or communication down. You ever heard of groanings which cannot be uttered? That's tongues. You have heard of people speaking in different languages? That's tongues. The issue is spirit-to-spirit communication, which can be in your regular tongue or can be in a unintelligible to you tongue, but not to God and the Spirit. So living in the Spirit is really exciting, and that is how you can enjoy. So until tomorrow, when there's another opportunity to celebrate life with me, is bye-bye. And remember, live in the Spirit. It's the only way to enjoy life.